Salve a tutti ragazzi, benvenuti in un nuovo episodio di Poirot. Oggi continuiamo con la nostra avventura. Abbiamo finito di perlustrare la casa qui dove c'è stato un incendio. Adesso parliamo con Hastings e poi dobbiamo andare a parlare anche con la signora Coulson. Ma quasi quasi andiamo subito dalla signora Coulson. No, prima Hastings.
Monsieur Hastings, your assistance is required. Of course. What do you need?
L'incendio.
It wasn't an accident. It was set on purpose, using turpentine to douse any evidence of them being there, and the forgery.
An almost perfect execution, had we not arrived in time before the evidence had burned away.
But why try and get rid of the necklace?
Spoken like a true detective.
Devo parlarle di una cosa.
What can I do for you?
Allora, posso confermare che Mademoiselle Smith non è stata uccisa dall'incendio. Allora, perché? Non c'è nessuna traccia di ustione e nessun segno di fuliggine o danni alle vie respiratorie.
From analyzing the victim's body, I can conclude that the cause of death was not dead by the flames.
Not by the flames. Then what?
That is what we are yet to determine.
What can I do for you?
Ho trovato il dipinto della Maddalena penitente. Comunque è un falso. Tela non tagliata via dalla cornice. Ok.
Mr. Poirot, you are a genius. What can I do for you?
Mademoiselle Smith stava creando copie della Maddalena penitente. Allora, perché? Foto bruciate e dipinto? Frode?
That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a lot to learn. What can I do for you?
Credo di sapere che appartiene alla nostra tabacchiera. Alla... Oddio, come si chiama? Irene? Sì. La tabacchiera appartiene a Mademoiselle Smith. Il motivo? Mozziconi di sigarette aromatizzate alla ciliegia e tabacchiera a forma di scarpe da donna.
That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a lot to learn. What can I do for you?
Let us get back to the scene.
No, correre. Allora, cosa abbiamo trovato qua? Abbiamo un indizio. I falsi della Maddalena penitente create da Irene. Il dipinto era un falso.
Where is the sense in that?
No. Irene Frode e i falsi?
Come, my little grey
No.
cells. We must think. This will not get me any
E anche?
closer to-
Allora, 3 vendite dall'importo elevato non contabilizzate.
Logical thinking shall
Ok.
always prevail.
Dal suo partitario e dalle operazioni registrate il giorno successivo al gala sembra che abbia venduto 2 sue opere. Qui c'è qualcos'altro di nuovo?
I cannot see the
No.
logic in this. Perhaps a
Irene vende 2 opere dopo il gala. E con la frode?
voilà.
Sì. La copia della Maddalena penitente e dei dati mancanti nei suoi registri suggeriscono che vende dipinti contraffatti. Ok, Irene vende dei falsi. Andiamo a parlare con la signora del primo piano. Il cane non sta mai zitto.
Is it that copper again? What do you want?
I was hoping to ask you some questions regarding the fire. May I ask your name?
You aren't coming in. You can get that into your head now. Mrs. Colsham. Camilla Colsham.
Merci, Madame Colsham.
Mademoiselle Smith non era solo nel suo appartamento ieri.
She hardly had any visitors, but yesterday it was like she had a sign up offering out free ale.
If you would be so kind as to talk us through the events as you remember them.
Well, I saw her leaving with a couple of paintings under her arm. You've seen her work? Not really my cup of tea. Then there was that posh-looking chap. I heard him before I saw him. Like an elephant on those stairs. Next came the professional-looking fella. He's got some money in those pockets, that's for sure. I saw him leaving with a painting, too. Oh, and the argument with another man? I couldn't hear what it was all about, but he had a set of lungs on him.
You are doing a wonderful job, Madame Colsham.
You can keep the patronizing tone to yourself. She must have turned her radio up to disguise what they were saying, but I tell you this, I'd rather have listened to them than that racket. It wasn't long before he was storming down the stairs. I don't think he'd heard the expression light-footed before.
Would you be able to remember any other details of the gentleman?
Through this peephole, you can barely tell who's man and woman. I didn't hear her leave, but when I heard that door downstairs slam, I knew it was her. I opened my door and gave her what for. And you know what she did? She waved me off, bottle of bubbles in hand, ranting about being dry. She looked 2 sheets to the wind, if you ask me. Only after did she turn the radio down. I wasn't going to waste the peace and quiet, and I got ready for bed. I was getting right into the exciting bit of my book. Perkins' first one, you know. I do like Perkins. Well, that's when I first smelt the smoke coming from the hall. And then you lot showed up.
Merci, Madame. You have been most accommodating.
Oh, and I found this in the garden. It's obviously hers. I was going to put it through her letterbox, but, well, you know.
The cork from a champagne bottle. It would not be a giant leap to assume this came from Mademoiselle Courtsmith's apartment. A smell lingers on the cork. Bitter almonds.
Merci, Madame Colsham.
Quindi è stata avvelenata, mi sa. C'è qualcosa? Sì. Allora, sughero forato. Lo mettiamo con champagne.
Is there
No.
something I am not seeing?
Allora, Irene torna a casa. Cassa di
Some would say
champagne.
a lucky
Perfetto.
guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Perché avrebbe dovuto comprarne altro se aveva già diverse bottiglie nel suo appartamento? Ah boh, questo chi lo sa. Irene compra altro champagne nonostante ne avesse già. Ok, qui c'è qualcosa. Non c'entra ancora niente. Torniamo su perché dobbiamo guardare qua, altrimenti non va più via questa. Irene vendeva dei falsi, bene. Insomma, bene. Andiamo su. Guardiamo se ci siamo dimenticati qualcosa nella stanza. Proviamo a parlare di nuovo con Hastings.
What do you need?
L'odore di mandorle amare sul tappo di champagne.
Almonds? I've never had champagne that tasted of almonds.
One would hope not. Mademoiselle's lips may hold the missing clue we require.
Il
Of
dipinto.
course, the painting. Irene had made forgeries of the Penitent Magdalene painting and was likely selling them for a pretty penny, I might add. What can I
Devo
do for you?
parlarle di una cosa, di
Let us
niente.
get back to the scene.
Ok, andiamo a vedere di nuovo il corpo di Irene. Che curioso, il suo alito ha ancora l'odore di mandorle. Quindi cosa è saltato fuori? Niente. Sughero forato e Irene è stata avvelenata.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Il sughero è stato forato con un cavatappi e poi è stato somministrato il veleno. Champagne aperto con un cavatappi.
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the truth. I must act
No.
on thought and fact. Something just
Allora, champagne e incendio doloso. Meno male dopo un po' mi dà un aiuto. Quindi vediamo se tiriamo fuori qualcosa di nuovo.
What do you need?
Cosa abbiamo imparato da questa scena del crimine?
I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
Take your time. Consider what we have seen and learnt of Mademoiselle Courtsmith's time here yesterday.
Okay, firstly, we know that she had a number of visitors and an argument with one of them. Among these visitors, one left with a painting, perhaps another forgery.
Très bien.
Irene wasn't drinking alone, and whoever she was drinking with likely poisoned her.
Il
The
veleno.
killer used a syringe to inject a liquid form of the poison through the cork and into the bottle.
Potassium cyanide. Traces of the compound can be found in nature, but dangerous levels, such as those present, can be detected by its notable almond smell.
And she fell victim shortly after in her chair.
Tra non molto tornerà l'ispettore.
What are you going to tell him?
The truth. He may hope for a simple and somewhat convenient version of events, but he cannot ignore the facts that we shall present.
My crime scene's still intact?
Of course, Detective Inspector. There is something that...
There's nothing more to say.
Pardon, Detective Inspector. The truth is that Mademoiselle Irene Court-Smythe was murdered.
Right you are. I'll be sure to make a note.
But you won't.
Excuse me? Are you forgetting who you're talking to?
He is well aware of your authority and your capability of coming to the same conclusion. We only wish to inform you of our findings.
Well, my men have been in, as have I, and I've concluded that the mademoiselle, as you so elegantly called her, made off with the painting and decided to have a few drinks to celebrate. She passed out drunk in the chair, candle still lit, and the place went up like a match.
Detective Inspector, s'il vous plaît. It is really not that simple.
Who are you calling simple?
He's not calling you simple, he's saying that isn't how it happened. How can you ignore the bottle of champagne that had been tampered with? The smell of poison on the cork.
You're both experts in poison now, are you?
I do not wish to stand here and argue credentials. Mademoiselle Court-Smythe was killed, not by the fire that burnt through her home, but at the hands of another. Her drink, laced with potassium cyanide.
Quite the imagination you two have.
Look, we can show.
No. We shall leave the detective inspector to discover the truth for himself. Detective, adieu. Monsieur Hastings, you must learn which battles are worth the fight. Besides, we have no time to stand squabbling with him. We have a murder to solve.
Ora so che il dipinto non è l'originale, sono sollevato, visto lo stato pietoso in cui si trova. Ok, obiettivo completato. Capitolo 5. Il piano. I detective Hercule Poirot e il signor Hastings esaminando gli indizi dell'omicidio mentre cercano i cospiratori del furto. Esaminano.
That was quite a night. I feel exhilarated, yet exhausted. Triumphant at what we have discovered, but mournful for Miss Court-Smythe.
It is being able to control those emotions and still see the bigger picture that separates the best detectives from those that merely like the thought of such responsibility.
So do you think it must have been one of the guests at the gala?
An accomplice disguised as a guest turned murderer. A master criminal they may appear to be, but they have never crossed paths with Belgium's greatest detective.
I think I just felt a chill.
Now we must speak with the guests of the gala again, as well as find Monsieur Christiansen, who has continued to evade my questions. I have no doubt one or more of them will hold the answers we require regarding the death of Mademoiselle Court-Smythe.
Ok, capitolo 5. Il piano. Vediamo cosa mi dice. Parla agli indiziati, benissimo. Vediamo dove sono perché non vedo nessuno. Allora, qua non c'è l'anima. Qua neanche. E qua nemmeno. Andiamo nell'ala ovest. Sala restauro. Oh, mi sembrava l'ala ovest di qua. Comunque. Infatti, non siamo andati dove dovevamo. Benissimo. Evelyn.
Mademoiselle, do you have a moment to spare?
Of course, Detective. I'm hoping you have some good news for me.
Si prepari una notizia che la turberà.
Goodness. You've found the painting, haven't you?
No.
A painting was recovered. A forgery, but it was damaged by the fire.
What on earth are you talking about? Forgery? Fire?
It ran rampant through Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's apartment.
She's dead. She would never be so. But with all of those flammable paints and... No!
Mademoiselle Warbeck appears quite distraught at the news. Perhaps I should have considered the nature in which it was delivered.
Quanto conosceva Mademoiselle Court-Smythe?
I respected her as an artist and a friend.
I do not wish to push Mademoiselle Warbeck too far while in such a state. But as a friend, I must know if she was aware of Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's plan.
Perhaps, as a friend, she let slip of her plans.
Her plan for what? Stealing the painting? Making a forgery? Do you really think I'd let her do that?
She must have had help from someone she trusted.
If she did, it wasn't me she confided in.
Ha visto Mademoiselle Court-Smythe dopo il gala?
I've been here trying to calm down the trustees.
You did not leave the museum?
I was here until the early hours. After the meeting, I wrote a letter to my father. I wanted his advice on what to do. It's just all so... Excuse me, gentlemen. I must go and make a phone call to an artist. I shan't be long.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
Ok, quindi questo è fatto. Vediamo se per caso c'è qualcosa. Infatti. Sembra che ci siano dei piccoli segni sulla carta del taccuino. Persino per la mia vista impeccabile sono troppo leggeri da comprendere. La seconda scoperta dov'è? Il libro. Un libro di pigmenti di pittura a olio e come si ricavano. Questo lo sapevamo già. Alla ricerca del colpevole. Ok, quindi qui abbiamo fatto tutto, probabilmente. Per ora almeno. Possiamo salire. Qua non c'è altro. Che qua non ci sia altro, quindi proviamo a uscire dal museo e vediamo quali altre tappe ci sono. Allora, la chiesa, l'ufficio di Mortimer, l'ufficio di Monsieur Ellsworth nella Royal Society of Arts, la via del teatro e la redazione. Quindi andiamo prima all'ufficio di Mortimer.
Monsieur Ellsworth.
Ah, a detective that actually seems to be doing something to find my painting. What can I do for you?
Come si sta riprendendo dalla sua traversia?
Quite well, thank you.
The infirmary discharged you already?
With a clean bill of health. I didn't want to wait around using up valuable resources.
An honorable gesture.
Dopo aver lasciato l'ospedale,
I was straight off to the House of Commons. I take it you haven't read today's newspaper?
I'm afraid I have had more pressing matters.
It certainly makes for an interesting read.
I was not aware reporters were permitted inside the house.
They aren't. I left and went to the London Illustrated News office. I gave my statement there. I can't for the life of me remember the chap's name. Rather pleasant, though. Anyway, you're a busy man. I'd hate to take up too much of your time.
It does not take a great detective to pick up on Monsieur Ellsworth's ever so subtle hint.
riguardo alla questione del dipinto.
Is this about the insurance claim? It was merely a necessary precaution. I'm sure with you on the case, it won't be long before it's returned.
I do not doubt my abilities to return the painting, but I question why he felt it necessary to talk of sensitive details regarding the investigation to a national news outlet. It would not surprise me to learn of him using his loss for cynical gain.
I assume you saw the article in the paper?
Oui, monsieur. A fantastic opportunity for you to express your political opinions.
Oh, the people must know what I stand for. I'm here for them.
Ok,
I will not take up any more of your time.
anche questa è fatta. Museo ci siamo già stati. Andiamo a parlare col vescovo.
Bartholomew! Here, puss, 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 puss. Where are you? Bartholomew! Enough now! Out you come! I'm sorry, I just don't have time to talk now. I have to find Bartholomew.
Have you placed a missing persons report?
Really, Detective? Bartholomew is the church cat. I think a missing persons report might be a little overboard.
I am sure with our assistance we shall find him in half the time. And then, perhaps you will have time to answer my questions.
Fine. All that matters now is that we find him.
Dove hai visto l'ultima volta il felino in questione?
His name is Bartholomew, and I'd appreciate it if you spoke of him as such.
Pardon. When did you last see Bartholomew?
Better. Well, you see, the poor creature took an interest in my easel. He leapt up, knocking over some of my supplies, and gave himself a fright. He bolted out of sight, and I've not seen him since.
Merci, Your Grace.
Ok, nuova mappa mentale sbloccata. Devo ammettere che questo incarico mi ricorda quelli svolti nel Belgio rurale. Quando ero un agente di polizia, devo comunque trovare il gatto scomparso, così il vescovo Monjoy risponderà alle mie domande. Il gatto si è spaventato da solo quando ha fatto cadere degli oggetti dal cavalletto. Bene. Ok, qui non muoverti. Qui abbiamo aggiunto qualcosa. L'intervista di Mortimer. Benissimo. Ok. Io credo che per oggi possa bastare. Nel prossimo episodio proviamo a trovare il gatto e poi parlare con l'arcivescovo. Grazie a tutti per la visione del video. Ciao ciao.